Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Produce Buzzers podcast. We are so happy you have joined us today, and I think you will be too after the show is over, because you will learn a lot about fresh fruits and vegetables, how to select and store them, how to prepare and cook them, and surprising facts about their history and origin. We hope it inspires you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, not only for your health, but also for your delight and pleasure as you explore their amazing world of taste and delicious flavors. Eating more of them will transform your life in so many positive ways. So settle back, relax, and get ready for another delicious adventure with the Produce Buzzers. Greetings, Produce Buzzers fans, and welcome to another delicious episode of the Produce Buzzers podcast. I'm Edwin Stepp, your host and executive editor of ProduceBuzz.com. I'm joined once again by Teresa Nolan, the president and founder of Produce Buzz, along with Rick Stepp and Cynthia Benedetto, both contributing editors to Produce Buzz. Now, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, June is National Mango Month. So in this week's episode, we celebrate this delicious and healthy fruit, one of the most popular fruits in the world, if not the most popular. Mangoes are one of the oldest fruits known to humans. They were written about over 4,000 years ago in Indian Hindustan writings. India is where they originated and are considered a sacred fruit there, as well as other Asian cultures. They became symbols for many rulers and spiritual leaders throughout Indian and Asian history. According to legend, Buddha meditated under a mango tree. Well, we don't know if mangoes are actually sacred, but we do know that the experience of eating them is divine. And today we have a very special guest joining us on the podcast to tell us all about mangoes. She is one of the world's foremost experts on mangoes. Dr. Noris Ledesma is a horticulturist specializing in tropical fruits. She holds a master's degree in environmental education from the Universidad de Malaga in Spain. I butchered that, didn't I? Universidad de Malaga in Spain. In 2015, she obtained a doctorate in agricultural economics from Humboldt University in Berlin. She was an emeritus curator at the Fairchild Tropical Botanical Garden in Coral Gables, Florida for over 20 years. She is also a courtesy professor at the University of Florida in the Tropical Research and Education Center in Homestead. And she was once president of the Florida State Horticulture Society. She now works as a consultant for the mango industry, and her work has taken her all over the world: the United States, Mexico, Latin America, Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Africa, India, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. Dr. Ledesma is on the search for the perfect mango. She has done deep research with the goal of creating interspecific hybrids between mangoes and selected species. She is looking for a mango variety that grows on a dwarf tree, great flavor with attractive color and disease resistance, all while being grown in new sustainable and organic production systems. She is active, sharing her knowledge in South Florida, lecturing and doing volunteer work. She's received numerous awards from the Florida State Horticulture Society, and she's authored over 100 scientific and popular articles on fruit culture in the last decade, as well as co-author of 3 books and numerous scientific publications and popular articles. Dr. Ledesma is so passionate about mangoes. She says it's much more than a fruit. It is at the center of so many cultures and gives so much more than just culinary pleasure. She says it is a fruit for your soul. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Ledesma. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Edwin, for the opportunity to share with everybody that is listening right now. Thank you.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. I've watched a few of your videos out there. You're so passionate about mangoes and other tropical fruits. We're going to focus on mangoes today, but we might have you tell us a little bit more about some of the other tropical fruits you've worked with. But first, tell us more about your background. I gave a little bit, some of that, but where are you from originally? What was your early life like?
Yes, I am from a small village.
From where? I'm sorry?
A small village in Colombia.
Oh, a small village in Colombia. Very interesting.
Yeah, I grew up in a coffee farm, small coffee farm, with my grandmother. I'm a country girl. That's what I am.
I love that. Yes. So Colombia is your home country.
Yes. Well, Miami is my home. I love Miami.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So you grew up on what was it like growing up on a coffee? Would you call them plantations, a coffee plantation or coffee farm?
Yeah, because it's in Colombia, we have very small farms, and that was my case. No more than 5 acres, and where coffee grows with cocoa, plantains, an avocado, maybe a mango, a couple of chickens roaming around. So that's how we look a regular farm.
Yeah. So you grew a little bit of everything, but certainly a few tropical fruits you mentioned there. So that's
yes.
So your knowledge goes way back, not just from studying at university. So that's great. Well, tell us a little bit about those. I mentioned your degrees and what you studied. Tell us a bit about your education and where and why did you choose the topics to study?
Well, I think it's from the way that I grew up. I knew since I was very little that I want to get my hands in the dirt.
Oh.
And I love wearing rubber boots and my hat. So that's my fashion. So that's what I like. First love, I will say that I was forestry engineer. Oh. I graduated from Colombia, and I had the luxury to work in the Amazons for 7 years, the jungle, working with indigenous species, with local people, helping them to collect seeds and rejuvenate the forest. And in that journey, I have to work with tropical fruits. Native tropical fruits from the jungle. Right. So that was my first background before I moved to the U.S.
That's fascinating. So you were helping to preserve the Amazon there in Colombia, and maybe other places too. That's so that your first love was then. Well, first of all, I love you talking about having the boots and the hat and getting into the dirt. Fantastic. But then to be in the forest and to understand those ecosystems in a tropical forest must have been fascinating.
Yes, it was, and everything is connected. My grandmother used to say that.
Yeah.
That everything that you learn in the end has a purpose.
Right.
And I said, okay, my background is I'm a forestry engineer. Of that life, that part of my life. And now I'm working with mangoes. What is the connection with that? So when I started working with mangoes, when I came to the US, working at Fairchild, I started as a volunteer in the beginning. And then I was hired to do as a curator of the tropical fruits. And I inherited the collection from Dr. David Fairchild. We used to have close to 100 different mango cultivars. And I said to myself, what am I going to do? I thought the mangoes were originally from Colombia because I grew up with them. That's very natural for us. And I said, how can I speed this progress? How can I learn so quick all these heritage that we have here in South Florida, which is lovely to see how much history with mangoes we have here in South Florida. And I started reading David Fairchild's journeys and going to the archives and see all his journey. He visited Colombia many times. He introduced many of our fruits like anonas, especially anonas and berries from Colombia many years ago. Right. And I was fascinated. He was my inspiration when I just came here.
So this man's name is David Fairchild, did you say?
Correct. Right. We carry that name to the institution that we have now. Right. Yes.
And he went to Colombia. Was he one of the first to bring them into Florida and to start growing them in Florida? Or?
Yeah, David Fairchild is responsible for many of the food than we eat today, not just in the US, all over. All over. It's fascinating. I invite you to read more about him.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I didn't know his name, but I suppose that he focused primarily on tropical fruits.
Avocados. He has so many things to say about avocados. If you start reading about him and how avocados became from a very weird green fruit to the way it is today, a commodity and very expensive. He changed that, introducing the first avocados to the US.
I'm ashamed that I don't know more about him, but I'm going to look at
We can talk about that in another program because the avocado history is lovely as well.
Right. We've done a little bit on avocados. In fact, Teresa, with her company, she represented the California Avocado Commission for many years, and we did a lot of work showing retailers how to properly ripen them, and made an impact in getting them more popular across the country. That was back in the 90s. But so we should do another episode on avocados. That would be good. Now, is David Fairchild still living, or is he?
No, he passed away many years ago, but his legacy is still alive.
Right, definitely. Well, that is fascinating. So what were the other fruits you mentioned that he brought from Colombia to here? You said
Bananas, like sour apple and sugar apple, all of those, that kind.
That's great. So you went to work as a volunteer there. You had already heard about him and knew about him before that, I assume, and that you were motivated.
Not really. That's the thing. I knew that I was coming to the US and I didn't want to lose my professional path. So I visit Fruit and Spice Park. That was my first visit when I came to Miami, and I love it. It's such a beautiful place that I invite everybody to visit. It's in Homestead, Florida, and it's the only ethnobotanic garden in the US. Everything is edible or can be used for anything, but they didn't have any opportunities for me as a volunteer. So I joined Fairchild, and I started as a curator like 4 months later, and until I retired. That happened 4 years ago. So my job was to take care of the collection that was not just mangoes. Also, we had avocados, we have mamey sapote, sapodilla, canistel, and jackfruit. So there was,
And what was the name? You said there was a spice garden? I'm again
Fruit and Spice Park.
Oh, Fruit and Spice Park. And that's in Homestead.
Yes, it's a lovely place, and they have many events, and also they celebrate mango in July. So it's a good place to visit.
Right, yeah. It's interesting because I told you my father was a farmer, and he farmed in North Carolina in the summer and fall. But we used to go to Homestead in the winter, and he would farm down there. I was too young to remember it, but Rick and Teresa might remember. Do you guys know about the spice and the Fruit and Spice Park? Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard.
I think I've heard of it, but I've never been there.
It's a place to visit. Spend the whole day eating from the trees, whatever is in season, that is allowed. And you can take tours that take you to different places. They have an Africa continent plot, and also they have Australian plot. So you can travel all over through plants. Very interesting.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to mangoes. I read that mangoes are eaten more than any other fruit in the world. Do you think that's true?
I would like to say yes. Why not? It's a perfect fruit to eat. But they are debating between bananas, and I'm sure that banana is the fruit that is more consumed. But I cannot imagine. I haven't seen in anybody the passion eating bananas compared with mangoes. Let's put it that way. It's, bananas are a comfortable fruit. So they come in a perfect package that you can just peel it. It's inexpensive. Almost everybody can afford it. And it fills your belly because it's quite heavy. But you cannot, I haven't seen anybody that say, oh, I remember those bananas. Mangoes, that's a different story. Everybody's just roll their eyes up and start talking about their childhood, the grandpa, the mangoes that they grew up with, and talking about that. Mangoes are special fruit. It touches people's heart. And I have a theory about it. I believe it's studying mangoes for more than 20 years in different fields. Mangoes is a very complex fruit. It has, when you study mangoes in terms of flavors, you discover that there are so many. And when you do it professionally speaking, working with chefs and all these people that are helping us to develop a different way to describe mangoes. It's so intense. There are some that they have these touches of lemony. They are more acidic, but there are others that they have these sparks of pineapple, and some of them they are more intense and they have actually onion and garlic on it, and they actually taste like durians. Oh. And when you translate all these senses that you remember in your brain, then wake up, I think I ate something like that, and you put the name pineapple. But when you translate this in compounds, it is amazing. It translates all the components of nutritional value of the fruit. And that's why I believe, because it's so complex, that people will remember mango in a different way than a banana. Banana is more simple. Watermelon is simple. It's nice and refreshing, but doesn't have that complex than the mango has. So I believe that it has to be with the nutritional value. And there are studies right now that are proving exactly what the mango is made of. So it's interesting working with, I have to tease you. Working with mangoes, I have to taste mangoes during mango season, all of them, and put names on it and put it in this software that is going to show me all the profile flavor of this fruit. So so you are more than welcome to come sometime and study mangoes with me.
You have such a tough job, Dr. Ledesma.
So bad. Yeah, well, I get so spoiled.
I want to get to the nutritional value in a minute, but I want to back up a bit to the varieties. I know there are hundreds of varieties of mangoes. Do they know how many different varieties are? Are they estimate?
It depends who are you asking. For example, and I said that because if you go to India and you visit a collection, they have different collections. It's a huge country and very passionate by mangoes. So you can count over 1,000 different ones. But here in Florida, we are talking about 500. 500 here in South Florida, which is a hot spot for diversity. I think we don't have many production, probably 3,000 acres maximum we have in mangoes in South Florida. Oh. But talking about diversity, this is a hot spot for genes of mangoes. We have so much diversity, even in everybody's backyard.
Are mangoes native to Florida, or are they brought in? They were brought in?
No. And that's an interesting thing, because they came here probably in 1600 by the pirates. I like to tell you stories, so if you allowed me. Yes. So it was the time we thought that Earth was flat. And then They came with the idea, then was wrong. So they want to make a shortcut, and they want to trade things for these things. So they went to India and get spices and all the things that they work with. But they want to make the journey around to shortcut. So they have to fill their boat with everything that they have to eat, including mangoes, but the mangoes have to be the ones that travel the best. The tiny ones with a lot of fibers that many people don't like because the fibers stick in your teeth. But those are the best mangoes to travel long journeys through the ocean. So they pick these tiny mangoes and they put it in their boat. Oh, after many days in the ocean, they saw land. Oh, so excited. Oh, we got it, land, land. So they dump all the garbage that they had. They didn't know that they were in La Española in the Caribbean. Right. So they dump everything, and many of those seeds, including the mango seeds, start germinating. And those trees, after 20 years, they were mature trees. They produce fruit already, and those seeds fell in the ground, produce new seeds, and over and over and over. The same way, those mangoes arrive to South Florida. So you see mangoes very interesting in Pine Island, near to Naples, in the Gulf Coast, and also even to Tampa. All those mangoes, especially to Pine Island, they have these ancient trees, beautiful trees, and probably they are 200 years old, and they have the roots in the salty water growing, and the kids just jump from the branches, go to the water, enjoying a mango fruit. That's happening still today. And we are going to celebrate Mango Mania in Pine Island in July 15th. Come and join us. It's going to be a wonderful experience. And all these mangoes start moving around in the south of the peninsula to the other side of the coast as well. Key West, all the Keys. The Keys were more famous and important than Miami in those days. And our Seminoles used to be the farmers, mango farmers in those days. But that was until later on, in 1900s, then Dr. David Fairchild went to India in one of his expeditions and brought 35 grafted trees from India. And he was so successful and brought these mangoes, but just one survived. And that was the Mulgoba mango. The Mulgoba mango was planted here in Coconut Grove, Florida.
Can you say that name again and maybe spell it? What was the type of mango?
Mulgoba is Mulgoba. Okay. Mulgoba.
And that was he brought that from India.
Yes, that was the only survivor tree. And it was planted in Coconut Grove. The tree grew. The Mulgoba started breeding, crossing pollen from the other flowers of the trees around.
So they were cross-pollinating.
They cross-pollinated, so they start blooming and they start breeding. Nobody pay attention to it. They make a fruit, and the fruit fell in the ground, and the babies start growing under the Mulgoba canopy. So what happened? One of those trees start growing and produce fruit. But the Mulgoba was a not very colorful mango, small and not very attractive. But then this lady went to his backyard and looked up and said, "Wow, what is this?" And she was surprised about it. She said, "But this is not a mango." Then she remembers. It was red, beautiful. And she took the mango to get inside. She was Mrs. Hayden. And that's the story of the Hayden mango.
Yes, the most popular commercial.
Yes, that's why everybody has a Hayden mango in our community still. All the big trees are Haydens. If you go to Hawaii, everything is Hayden also. It's our grandpa tree, and it has a beautiful story.
So Mrs. Hayden found that under the Mulgoba.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the mango that started to be grafted. Many people copy the same tree, and it's very popular right now. It went to Mexico, Central America, Colombia, Peru. It became so popular because the color, we are attracted by color, but colorful have a meaning also. Red is very powerful. Yellow, it is, but not that much. Green, you have doubts. You don't need interpretation for that. It's just instant in your brain. If you develop a mango that is purple, for me, that's the key. That's why I've been spending so much time working in that direction. So why purple?
Yes.
Edwin,
why purple?
Let's divide that. Why purple? So now we are making tomatoes that color. We are making carrots. Everything antioxidant is good for your health. That color is a fingerprint for your health.
Yeah.
So everything which is purple is antioxidant, and it makes you younger. It prevents from cancer. So that's very powerful color right now in this era. So if we make a mango, go ahead.
There will be more healthy if they have the purple color. Like you said, we've got purple carrots, there's purple artichokes, there's purple Brussels sprouts. And they have more antioxidants. That yellow variety that I know I believe it's called the atufo. Is that right? Atufo?
That's correct. Now they changed the name. They call it the honey mango, which is easier. Right. Yes, that's exactly the same way. Tommy Atkins is one of the very popular mangoes that are coming from the same story of the pirate with Moldova. Yeah, Tommy is one of the good heritage growing under the Moldova tree. Kent, Kit, Valencia Pride, all of these are coming from the same story. Yeah. It's just that the grandpa is Hayden, that was the number one, but don't forget that the other ones are coming behind. So they said, oh, this pretty mango, let's look for the other ones. Maybe we find something better. So they discovered Tommy Atkins. And what happened with Tommy Atkins? Red, it's beautiful. And it has a little bit of fiber. And also the shape of the mango. Is the Tommy Atkins the most popular commercial variety now, or is Hayden most popular? No, Tommy Atkins still is the number one. Yeah. And the reason is different reasons. One is free to use. So it's not patent. It's not patent. So farmers they don't have to pay royalties to use and propagate the tree. It is quite resistant. You can adapt in different microclimates. The other reason is the color is beautiful, very productive. It's super heavy producer. You believe you will be able to create a purple mango? I'm working on it still. I'm not young, and this project, it can take forever. Yeah. So we have to train new generation to help. But at least I shake the genes. That when I'm saying that is I make hybrids, interspecific hybrids, which is the mango that you know, with the grandfather and the uncle and the cousin of the mango, yes, all together. And I just mix those genes and I left them and see what they are going to do with that. It's the same thing that happened with corn, for example. So we domesticate so much the corn that is more appealing for the consumer that we lost all these genes from the ancestors of the corn. So what I did in my professional work was to introduce all these ancestors of the mangoes, of the mangiferas that are coming mainly from Malaysia and Indonesia. They are living here in the US. And in my 20 years of my career, I made hybrids between the mango that we know with these other ancient mangiferas. Now, in my retirement, having fun, that's what I'm doing. So I keep shaking genes, and with the resources I have, try to bring new mangoes for the farmers. But we have so many good mangoes that we can change the story of mangoes.
You look at what's happened in the apple industry and how they continue to find new varieties, but it doesn't seem like we've seen that with mangoes as much. Is it more difficult to find new varieties, even though there are hundreds and thousands of them? Can you tell us a bit more about that process?
Let me split that question in two.
Okay.
One thing is we have enough resources already to change the mango industry, and good ones. If we are talking about here just in South Florida, 500, that's enough to create. If we did an industry with Tommy Atkins, more than 100 years, growing the same variety. So 500 different ones that we have here in South Florida is enough for the rest of humankind. But yeah, that will be enough. And I'm talking about free varieties that they are not patent, they can use it, and they don't have to pay royalties. But if we are talking about it's not enough, that's my point, it's not enough. Because we are losing different components in the mango that we have been domesticated. First of all, they are coming from a very narrow root, many descendants from the same parents. Yeah. So very narrow. So we need to open that possibility, introducing new blood. So how we do that? My goal is to expand the mango production.
You're searching for the perfect mango. When are you going to develop one that does not have a pit, a seed?
That's a difficult one. That's a difficult one.
It may not be possible, but can you at least get it smaller?
Yes, we have mangoes and they have a almost invisible seed. Oh, really? And it's, yeah, many. And we have some mangoes that also they have a loose seed, like peaches.
Oh, so it comes free. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So we have them already.
Yeah, and their flavor is probably not as good as the others, right?
No, it's absolutely delicious, even better than the ones that you can record. Wow. One is called Jakarta. Oh, Jakarta has coconut with pineapple and banana.
This is amazing. I love these flavor profiles you've been talking about today.
That Jakarta is, have been talking about this for a long time. The problem is they don't like South Florida so much because it's the humidity. But I have it in the desert in Peru and Saudi Arabia, and it produces so well. It makes a very tiny tree. The problem is to chip it because it's very, very soft. So, yes, very hard to find a way by plane. Or if you can eat it just in the country, will be fine. But we have already mangoes and they have those characteristics, and they are delicious. So
I would love to find some of those. I love mangoes, but sometimes they're a little bit of work, to get them peeled and sliced, but it's worth it.
It depends. It depends. There are some that are so delicate, like this Angie that I'm talking about. Yeah. It's so easy because this one has a flat seed and it's a very meaty mango. So you cut the chicks off and you eat it with a spoon. It is, this is the best way to eat a mango for me is like an Angie mango or Malika. That's another one that you can do the same thing. Malika. So you take out, they have this flat seed and you are not going to get in danger to cut the seed, to cut yourself trying to remove the chicks. Right. So, and then you just serve it in a plate and with a spoon. So you don't get messy. You can be very fancy in the table eating a mango.
Interesting. I'd love to try one of those. I guess I'll have to come down to Florida.
I'm telling you, Edwin, next time.
That would be awesome. Let's go back to the nutrition of mangoes. You mentioned that. Can you tell us a bit about what the nutritional benefits are for mangoes? I know they're a superfruit or considered a superfruit.
Well, what can I say? They are so good. And there are studies that are working on it, but basically it's in vitamins content. So the vitamin A and vitamin B and vitamin C are very high. So they are doing a National Mango Board. It's funding right now serious studies how good is for your health. You know that this is a protocol that you have to follow. So it takes a long time, but they are working on it, which I'm very happy. The time that they have the results, that I can claim mangoes are good for diabetes. The mangoes are good to lose weight. The mangoes are good for your health in general. With the certifications on it, that will be wonderful. For now, they are good to eat. They are delicious. They are very healthy, rich in vitamins. We are very happy, Edwin, that mangoes are gaining more and more popularity. Thanks to the National Mango Board is doing an outstanding job promoting mangoes and the consumption of mangoes in the United States. So people are more aware about the fruit. For Latin American countries, we know what the mango tastes like. But we grew up with them. But we need everybody eating mangoes and understanding how good the fruit is and how they can use it, how they can eat it. There are so many dishes that people probably in the beginning think that mangoes can be eaten as a fruit, in desserts, in sweets, but no, savory dishes. One of my favorite ways to use mangoes, for example, is in a mango salsa, which is so easy and everybody love it.
It's good. Teresa has a mango salsa recipe that she makes, and it's delicious.
Yeah, nobody gets disappointed. If you are vegetarian, so you don't put any shrimps, and they are good to go. It's so simple. One of my tips, Teresa, I don't know if you have the same one, making a mango salsa, but I like to mix 50% of the mango cubes, chop it, ripe fruit, and 50% just breaking color. It make it more crunchy, and the tartness of the green mango make it better for me.
I haven't tried it that way, but I will test that recipe.
Now, when you say green mango, do you mean a mango that's not ripe, or is there another variety that's a green?
No, it's the same fruit that is not ripe. Okay. That is just breaking color. It's kind of pale yellow. So it makes a difference in the salsa, at least for me, recipe, because it makes more balance with the sweet and the tartness of the green mango.
Right. I love it. I love to put mango on fish dishes, especially like a sauce or fish. And
chutney, you mean like a chutney or
just a sauce? I play it by ear, but making a sauce, it just goes very well with the fish, I think. And the other thing is ceviche. Ceviche is very good.
Oh, it's delicious. It's the same salsa that Teresa makes, but with shrimps and a little bit of jalapeno on it.
Spicy.
Always good.
Well, this has been really fun. We should probably let you go, and we'd love to have you back.
I have a pun.
Teresa has a pun. Do you like puns, Dr. Ledesma?
I'm just recording that word in my vocabulary, and it's not there. What is that?
Well, a pun is like a little joke, and Teresa's we do a pun related to the episode every week. And so she's going to tell us this joke, and we'll try to laugh. But usually puns are kind of bad. They're bad jokes. So we groan at them.
I came to the US 40 years ago. I didn't speak any English by then. But still, even though that I understand the words and everything, and somebody is making jokes, my reaction is late. Okay. So everybody is in the second joke, and I am still laughing about the first one. So don't invite me to a party, Teresa. I'm going to be awful.
Well, it's usually a play on words too. Puns are, it's taking a word that sounds like another word and making a joke out of it. But
We'll let her tell it. You can laugh or groan or figure it out later. All right. So Teresa is going to give us the pun, the homegrown, we call it. And Teresa, what is the pun of the day?
okay, so Norris was talking about how the Japanese like to grow mangoes. But my question is, how do people check whether the mango is ripe in Japan? So how do the Japanese people check whether their mango is ripe?
So how do the Japanese people check when their mangoes are ripe?
Mhm. How do they check? How do they know?
Okay. Well, I have no clue. So Teresa, tell us the pun.
Okay. Japanese people just poke a mango to see if it's ripe.
Oh, poke a mango. Oh.
Poke a mango.
Oh,
Ah.
that's a
That
good
has
one,
to be the worst
Teresa.
one
I
yet.
like it because that's exactly what they do. They have a and they just pluck the mango and the mango drops in the net. Very good. I'm going to steal that one. I'm so bad with jokes.
You got it. That's great.
Very good.
Mango. All right. I'm sorry, Dr. Ledesma.
Edwin, before I let you go, before I leave, I want everybody to have in mind that we have so many mango festivals coming up.
Okay, yes.
I don't want to miss that opportunity if you allow me to do it.
Please tell us. I know you mentioned the one in July that's in where is it? Pine Island.
I have a list here that I will share with you.
Okay.
So we have so many mango festivals coming all year round. That's my journey. I just came back from Tapachula, Mexico for the Mango Festival. That was in May 10 to 13. So it depends where is mango season. They have a mango festival. You can travel and do tourism and have fun with your family.
Yeah.
Just jumping from mango festival to the next mango festival. That's what I'm doing.
That's great. Oh, man,
So it gets better.
yeah.
Edwin. So now is the Dominican Republic, which is in June 10 to 11 in a city that is called Bani. It's organized by the mango farmers and the government of the Dominican Republic. It's a beautiful area, nice people and good food. June 10 to 11. And then in Key West, June 17th. And then we have the International Mango Festival in India in July 9th to 10th.
Okay.
And that one is very famous. They start making mango festival since 1987.
It must be one of the biggest, I would imagine.
It's a big one. It's a big one. And they have so much passion about mangoes, and it's worth it. If you have some intentions to go to India, just mark your calendar for July.
Yeah.
And that may be worth it to do it. And then, of course, the Mango Festival at Fairchild, which is in July 8th. And then the Mango Mania in Pine Island that I was talking about, so much history there. That's in July 15th.
Okay. Sounds like you're going to be really moving back and forth across the globe in the next month or two.
That's fun. I hope to see you in some of those mango events.
I want to come visit you somewhere to see the mango event or the Fairchild or any of these places you've mentioned would be fantastic. So that's great. Well, you're going to be a busy traveler in the next few months. I wish you safe travels. Thank you for your time. We would like to have you back. I want to talk about avocados sometime, but if we could, there's more. We could have talked about mangoes, I know, but we should probably let you get on to your day, prepare for your trips. So
thank you for the opportunity, all of you, and enjoy mango season.
Thank you so much, Dr. LaFleur.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All the best. Safe travels.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Produce Buzzers podcast, brought to you by Produce Buzz. the gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies. We hope you were entertained a bit and educated a lot about fresh produce. Be sure to join us next time, and please tell your friends to do so as well. Like, share, and comment on our Produce Buzz Facebook page. And check out our website at www.producebuzz.com. There you will find articles about fresh fruits and veggies, how to select, store, and prepare them, as well as lots of interesting facts about all the wonderful bounty the earth provides for us. Until next time, be fruitful and don't forget to veg out.